Hello and welcome to this video about the Jigonhsasee? I don't know. But it's basically a new patch for Humankind that was released earlier today. So it's version 1.0.6.667. And we have just played a little bit into a game, just trying out some of the new features, so I can tell you a little bit about how that all works, and I'll even cut in a little bit of footage here and there from that game to demonstrate some of the things. But yeah, we'll go through the change notes here, and I'll talk a little bit about based on my experience with this game and so on. I have like a few hundred hours in this game now. Yeah, about almost 200 hours. So that's sort of the experience that I'm talking from. Alright, let's start with the important changes and additions. Improve the way of lines, the way line of signs are feedbacked in battle. So this is one of the key changes. We had a little bit of archer combat, and I'll show you that in here. And so they changed some of the, like they lifted up the indicator of where the archer shoots, and so they made it a little bit easier to see. I think it still would be good to do a little bit more. One of the things, I don't know if I can get into a fight anywhere with an archer. Okay, we can. One of the things I still would like to see, hopefully they don't just run away. I wanted to fight them. Anyway, one of the things I would still like to see is a better way to understand the where you're going and what kind of line of sight will be there. So that was a little bit hard still. The other change that I noticed is that they've added a little like circle on each tile when you are in combat. So let's try and show you that. And it tells you a little bit about each of these tiles, right? So if we like in the left there, so it says open ground and river. So the river heavily restricts unit movement, applies heavy combat strength penalties. Anyway, so they do tell you a little bit about, you know, the various things that are going on here, which give you some key information about like whether it's a good idea to move to any of these particular tiles, right? So that's good. I think they made it a little bit easier to understand the battles, so that's always a good change. Added the ability to use avatar rewards as AI opponents. Okay, so I guess that's a nice change, so you can actually play against some of the cosmetic, or like if you have unlocked the avatar, you can also apply that to your opponents that you play against. They said that they've improved the military strategic planning, so armies management, reinforcement, bombing, disembarkment, and so on. I think that we saw some smarter movement from the AI, and you know, they tended to attack out of a city when I was besieging it, which is kind of the same that it has always been. They did position some of their units fairly well. I mean, I don't know if it's like a massive change to their intelligence. They still attacked me in a city where they had, you know, a very hard time actually taking me out, and I didn't really pay that much attention to the battle, and I still won it. So yeah, we didn't get to see this territory claiming behavior. I assume that's related to when you win or you lose a war, and the AI like picking the territories that it wants. Yeah, some of these other things we haven't seen. I mean, let's take a look and see how Fame is going. I mean, they're doing pretty good on Fame, actually. Like, this is an early game, and most of them are still likely to be in the ancient era, right? And for them to have gathered like 2,500 Fame is pretty impressive. In the past, the AI ends at around 1,100 Fame at the end of the game. So that's sort of the hurdle that you have to beat in order to win. But this looks pretty impressive, and especially that, you know, all of them have captured, or most of them, the Hittis, the red guys are gonna have a hard time because they only have one city left after I attacked them here. But all the other ones have actually advanced, which is also an unusual thing to see this early in the games. Often you tend to have like one or two laggards where they haven't unlocked all of the stars yet. So it looks like the fame gathering improvements have been quite effective. And we haven't seen pollution management. Actually, it would be hard to know from the outside how well this works for the area, but yeah. Okay, so changes and additions. They improved the data telemetry flow, which I assume makes the game a little bit more efficient. There's some settings for colorblind modes once the game is launched. Let's see if we can see those. Okay, so they let you pick, I guess, the various colors to make it easier for you to change the interface even after the game has started. So I think that's a pretty good change. So that will make it easier for people with a color blindness to sort of fix the game a little bit for them. That's great. Detailed tupers for challenge rewards. So yeah, we looked at that in early on. So I'll cut a little bit of footage from that in here. It just like tells you a little bit of extra information about the various challenges that like the unlocks that you get from completing certain challenges, which is good. And it also improved visibility. I don't know what it looked like before because I didn't sort of look at it, but you'll see what it looks like now anyway. And I guess they improved the challenger localization. So let's go back to the main menu. Presumably, presumably the accuracy of the timer is a little bit better. Let's see. Time 8 days and 3 hours. Okay. Okay, fine. Great. Improved feedback when players not connected to GK. We tried to complete that. I messed up logging in, so. Okay, important fixes. Fix an issue where stuck with errors in the loading screen is encountered under specific conditions, both single and multiplayer. Okay, great. Fix an issue where stuck an error message occurred in-game under specific conditions. Okay, great. Fix some issues where making the same demand. Start of a turn during normal gameplay under specific conditions. Okay, great. An error is generated after pressing the next player button from the end game screen under specific conditions. Okay, never encountered that one. Something about connecting the G2G account. Okay, another one. Attempts to edit the settings of a competitor for the first time on a fresh install. Interesting. After pressing the locate event button of notification during late game. Okay. That's good. Fix an issue when error generated in main menu after leaving a session where natural wonder was discovered for the first time by the player. That's very random. Good to fix that. Fix an issue when error is generated when the client in the lobby clicks on the paste button. Okay. Fix an issue when error is generated when loading a specific quick save of a multiplayer session. Fix an issue where AI-related error is generated when two AI empires declare war on each other under specific conditions. Fix an issue where AI-related error is generated during gameplay under specific condition and also when ending a turn. Okay, that's always good. Some more fixes related to challenges. Okay, it's the Mount Vesuvius. I assume this is a wonder, so fixing that it always renders is really good. Fix an issue where scrolling the map for a prolonged period of time needs to grade out edge. Okay. Fix an issue where city pollution models flicker. That's never nice to have flickering. Fix an issue where narrative voice lines for building 30 farmers' quarters trigger when the 16 farms. That's a bit embarrassing. Fix an issue where the narrative voice line for 30 farmers' quarters trigger for building 30 market quarters. That's embarrassing too. I know that in some cases when you build one of the units, it thinks that it's a ship as well. So there were some quirks with like some of the narrator events. Okay, fix an issue where no end conditions are assigned to the default condition preset on first run until the preset is reselected. Right? Fix an issue where the turn symbols were twice inside the pollutions tooltip. Fix an issue where removed player persona strengths and biases are not correctly displayed in the community screen until restarting the game. Fix an issue where the second choice of the narrative event, highway robbery, has the same description as the first choice of the event. Okay, that's nice, just fixing that up. I assume that, you know, the rewards were correct, it's just like the flavor text wasn't correct. Fix an issue where debug text is displayed for one of the preset avatars. Okay. More debug text during connection timeout notifications. Fix an issue where debug text is presented in the description of the district placement confirmation. Give me freedom persona strength and the change state religion button. Okay, so a bunch of fixes. Some improvements to the AI, which is always important. I think the AI improvements are going to be hard to notice, but just over time they'll get better and better and better and better in the background. I don't think this game was any harder or easier, sorry I don't have it loaded anymore, than before. Maybe a little bit harder. The AI was a little bit more aggressive at attacking out of their city. And I also actually ended up attacking one of my capitals with their armies, which is quite good. Maybe they would have been better off throwing that army at, you know, the army that was just taking over all of their cities. But it is actually the first time that I've seen them do something like that, like attack my capital when it was pretty open at the time. I mean, I did lose that siege against like one premature unit, but and so that's really good. And the sort of line of sights are nice, like a nice little improvement, and like the little sort of tile or circular things that you can hover over that tell you a little bit of information about some of the consequences of moving to particular tiles is also really good. So yeah, thanks for watching, and speak to you next time. Bye.